Hi Yubin, let's take a look at this new set of essays you have sent us. The first one is about pollution. Okay, here's what you said. It is true that pollution is considered a serious social problem by the whole world, especially in megacities such as Shanghai, Dhaka, London, and Mexico City. There are several reasons. Why does pollution becoming worse? A solution to be solved. All right, well, let's fix this a little. It's grammatical problems here that need to be corrected. So let's fix them. It is true that pollution is considered a serious social problem by the whole world, especially in megacities. This was fine. There are several reasons why pollution is becoming worse. However, there are solutions to this issue. Okay? So that would have been a better way, a more accurate way to do this. Let's move on. All right, let's never use the word bunch in an IELTS essay. It's just far too informal, so avoid it. So instead, there are many reasons for pollution, but among them, development of technologies and low awareness of pollution are the main reasons. It is not so obvious. It almost sounds like you're scolding somebody. So instead, let's say it is obvious that many new technologies developed drastically from the beginning of the 21st century. During this process, you said had developed. All right, fine, keep it. During this process, many factories emitted contaminated air and water, which cause serious pollution. According to the article, no, it's not one article. According to an article from New York Times, it is said that many companies spoil polluted oil through the river. That doesn't make sense. You mean they spill? I think you mean they spill, S-P-I-L-L. And they don't spill it through the river, but into the river. And it's not just one river, but it's multiple rivers, so into rivers. Low awareness also leads to this serious situation, which is deepening. No, none of this is right. So, low awareness. How about poor awareness on the part of the public is also deepening this serious, not deepening, no, is also worsening this situation. For instance, according to a survey, no, it's not a survey researched, a survey published by the Department of Environmental Protection in Korea, 70% of high and middle students, answered, I don't know why pollution is a serious problem. In addition, the result of adults with the same question was similar to that of teenagers. Okay, so what's the takeaway here? The takeaway is, therefore, pollution by environment and poor awareness or low awareness on the part of the public are behind the worsening problem of pollution. All right, you need some sort of a takeaway here. Luckily, there are several solutions to not release, but to relieve, to lower, to reduce pollution. First of all, the government can make new policies to regulate companies. You don't keep the environment, you protect the environment. If the government, or plural governments, make new regulations about those, air and water pollution will be moderated. Okay, I didn't really like that about those. So instead, how about we say, if governments make new regulations, air and water pollution will be moderated. And I don't really care for that word moderated as well. What else could you have said? Governments can make new policies to regulate companies to protect the environment. You could have said, with these new regulations, air and water pollution would be controlled, would be reduced, would be limited. That would have worked a little better. Okay, for example, there was a case from China which is regulate the amount of waste, and if firm has over the limit, they should pay penalty fee. Okay, let's fix the grammar here. For example, there is a case from China where the amount of waste is regulated, and if a firm goes over this limit, they pay a penalty. Okay, that fixes the grammar a little bit here. After this policy was made, the amount of water waste from companies amazingly decreased. don't know why you're saying second. Because you said first of all. All right. So second of all, to prevent air pollution, government can educate and warn people about pollution. To be more specific, they can hold free classes, plural, to teach recycling, ing, to many children. How does recycling help air pollution? Can you explain that to me? I don't see the connection. Also, government can plan more budget. No, government can allocate more of the budget to expand public transportation such as buses and subways. How would that help? Explain that to me. This example definitely feels more relevant than the one about recycling classes, but you didn't support it. You didn't tell me how this would help. Okay, so tell me that with buses and subways, fewer cars would be on the road, reducing the toxic fumes that enter the atmosphere. All right, so you need to make extensions like this. Okay, so in conclusion, development of new technologies and low awareness of citizens are the main reasons, there's two reasons, which cause pollution, but the problems can be solved by regulation and action from, careful with your typing, action from government. Fine. All right, so really here, Yubin, the problem for me is with your grammar. There are grammatical mistakes consistently throughout the essay, and that's what you really, really, really need to work on. The things you said were fine, but you need to support them appropriately. You didn't have appropriate support throughout the essay, okay? So in terms of priority, I'd like you to be careful with your grammar, and then also be aware of how you need to support your essay properly. Let's look at your second task. Okay, here it is. It's the one about car sales. Here's what you wrote. The bar chart illustrates the number of car sales of Ford, Audi, and BMW in 9 different European countries in 2018. Overall, people from Hungary, they don't consume cars. So that means that they eat cars, and that's not what you mean here at all. So, try it again. Overall, people from Hungary purchased cars the most, and Belgium the least. You didn't even need to use this verb again because it's assumed that it's the same verb. It's called ellipsis, and it's a nice element of cohesion. All right, it is also noticeable that the number of cars sold in Hungary is 4 times larger than Belgium. All right, that's fine. Let's move on. To be more specific, Hungary ranked first place with the result of approximately 400 cars. No, not 400. Look at this number. It means in the thousands. So anytime you see a 400, it's actually 400,000s. And you have to be super careful about this, because if you don't pay attention to this and you don't include it in your answer, then the examiner is going to reduce your score because of inaccurate data. Okay? So 400,000 cars. Then France followed. You didn't even follow next, get rid of the, with around 310,000 vehicles. The figure of cars sold in Germany was about 270, and Ireland and Holland were nearly 260, which is 3rd and 4th highest rank. Okay, fine. Car purchases of Poland and UK were neither high nor low. Both of the countries purchased around 200 vehicles, which is half, get rid of the, which is half of Hungary's. The number of cars purchased by Italy was the second lowest, with the figure of approximately 140. According to the graph, each country prefers different car companies, IES. In the case of Hungary and France, they liked, with the past tense, to purchase cars from not every, from each country, which are each company, which are Ford, Audi, and BMW. However, in the case of Belgium, they preferred, with an RED, Ford the most. Audi is the least preferred company of UK, Ireland, Holland, and Italy, and BMW has been liked by most of the countries, especially France, Germany, and Hungary. All right, there are a few things that I like here. I liked your introduction. I liked your overview. I liked this paragraph, and I liked the way you organized your paragraphs. I liked that you talked about those total numbers first for each of the countries, and I liked that you spent a paragraph talking about the individual car companies. I thought that the organization of this answer was really very good. What I don't really like, besides the fact that your data was inaccurate, is that I didn't really feel like you told me enough in this paragraph, okay? I feel like you it was really short and it was just underdeveloped. So you could have talked about more car companies as far as I'm concerned. So for example, and given more data, because you really didn't give any data, you just said the most, the least, and that was it. So what you should have done here, and this would have made me very happy, is you could have said, look at the numbers. Okay, you've got this 100 point. Okay, so look at how many countries purchased BMW over 100,000. So it was France, it was Germany, it was Ireland, and Hungary. Okay, so you could talk about those. You could talk about those countries. Okay, in XYZ, a little over 100,000 BMW were sold. Okay, Belgium had the least BMWs sold at whatever that number is. It looks like it's like 10,000 or something. Okay, and the remaining countries, forgive me, purchased slightly less than 100,000 BMWs. You're done there. And then you could do a similar thing with Ford. You could say that Hungary and Holland purchased the most Fords at whatever that number is. The least Fords were purchased in Germany and Italy with approximately this. And then you could say the rest of the countries and figure out what that figure is, okay, because it's not the same, but you can use a range here. Ranges are super helpful. You could say the rest of the countries purchased between 50,000 and 100,000. Okay, and then you could do another similar sentence for Audi. So it's really not a lot of sentences. It's essentially like 1 or 2 sentences for each of the car companies, which isn't a lot. Okay, it's like one other paragraph, but that's how I would do it. All right, so go ahead and correct these essays. Let's see what you write for us the next time, and I'll be here waiting to see what you write next. Okay, good luck.